Well, good morning. Welcome to New Thought Unity Center on this lovely Sunday morning. My name is David Kisor, and the weather and the spirit is wonderful, bright, and beautiful in Cincinnati, Ohio today. I'm music director here, and I'm proud to be part of this celebration this morning and humbled by the talent that we have on the stage. We got the songbirds, we've got the band, and ladies and gentlemen, we have Kim Belew with us this morning, who's going to start us off. And we're going to start by getting our wings together and soaring. Here we go.
It's time to soar. Lift me up what life is for. Rise above all alone. I held the key through open doors. I am free, it's time to soar. Lift me up what life is for. Rise above all alone. I held the key through open doors. I am free. Kinda broke a wing, learned to fly. Been hit by life so many times, you'd rather die. Try one more time. Tired of weary tears in your eyes. Pick yourself up, surely as you rise. Something new is breaking through. A breath that whispers inspires you. Now you know what all brought you here, but you don't turn away, you face your fear. You watch it disappear, you can't believe you could be free. What can you say? You're a warrior, for goodness sake. You just forgot, now you're ready to take a leap of faith. It's a brand new day, so open your wings, yeah, open wide. Let's go, brave one, you're ready to fly. Yeah. Lift me up, what life is for. Rise above all alone. I held the key through open doors. I am free, it's time to soar. Lift me up, what life is for. Rise above all alone. I held the key through open doors. I am free. Couldn't see it before, now it's clear. This power inside is what brought you here. Just need time so you can feel. Now you're ready, you are healed, you're vulnerable, and you are strong. You've been these things all along, buried deep to keep you safe. No more need, you're free today. Breathe that in, know it's true. The love you seek is seeking you. You're not broken, you're beautiful, perfect and whole after all. Yet it's true, you can't believe. No more cage, you are free. So stand up strong, stand up proud. So brave one above the clouds. Yeah. Lift me up, what life is for. Rise above all alone. I held the key through open doors. I am free, it's time to soar. Lift me up, what life is for. Rise above all alone. I held the key through open doors. I am free. I am free. Sing that with us. I am free. Keep singing it. I am free. One more time. I am free. Lift me up, what life is for. Rise above all alone. I held the key through open doors. I am free, it's time to soar. Lift me up, what life is for. Rise above all alone. I held the key through open doors. I am free. Yeah, feel that freedom as you rise above. You face your fear. Remember that you're vulnerable and you are strong and you can soar no matter what. Every time you fall down, you can fly high together. Yeah, let's soar.
So we have a wonderful speaker we're going to introduce formally in a few minutes, but Tara Robinson is with us again today, and we're so glad that she is here. And she sent for us a wonderful affirmation that we're going to recite today. Althea, can you take us in this affirmation?
Oh, good morning. And our affirmation for today is, I am present to the sacred in every moment, in every relationship, and with every breath, I choose connection. So would you repeat that with me? I am present to the sacred in every moment, in every relationship, and with every breath, I choose connection. And so it is on this great Sunday morning. As we rose this morning, taking that deep breath and thanking Spirit for enabling us to wake up and see another day. A day where we can soar, a day when we can make new connections, and a day when we can say yes to our greater good. And so it is.
All right. Now's the time where we stand up and sing together. And it's going to start right now. All the old stuff gets left behind. It's everything new from here on out. Daniel Nahmod's song, and please sing together. I want to welcome everybody that's joining us via the interweb. Out there on Facebook Live, we're glad that you're here. I tell you, the congregation seems to be growing. People are emerging, and we're so glad you're here. Let's make it our statement today that this is the new day where we start.
Bring it on, everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Crying, I'm through waiting, I'm through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing for something gone that'll never return. I think I finally learned. So bring it on, everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through breathing, I'm through dreaming that the life I had is ever coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star that'll never be mine. I think it's time, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I've survived many times before, broken hearts and slamming doors. I'll be alright, yes I will once more, just like I did back then. Gonna rise again, bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new.
And now's the time where we get to turn to each other and greet each other with a handshake or a hug. If you see a mask, please ask, or just please ask anyway, as we stay safe in these wonderful times.
Namaste. 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 Good.
3.
Woo! I feel a good vibration, healing and transformation all through this congregation. Must be unity. The experience is our mission. Universal wholeness is our vision. I am who I am is my decision. Must be, must be, must be unity. NTUC unity. Yeah.
Yeah.
In God, we are an inclusive, abundant community, experiencing love and transforming lives and serving others. We celebrate a world of harmony and oneness, a place of loving stewardship, sacred connections, and pure joy, where all are welcomed with honor and respect.
We'd like you to know that wherever you are on your spiritual path, wherever you have been, whichever spiritual path you are on, you are welcome here, and we're so glad for your presence. If you're new with us today, we have a newcomers table, and Regina is here. She'll be happy to meet you back there and give you a packet with information about the center and a gift. And if you have not gotten that before, no matter how many times you've been there, you can stop at this room. So thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you. And if you're out there on Facebook Live, we welcome you for the first time or coming back. Yes, somebody showed up today in full dress, not in their pajamas. They're actually here. So that's wonderful. But if you're out there and our larger family connected by the wonderful technologies, let us know that you're here. Say hi, and we will. And if you have something lovely to say to the congregation, we'll pass that on as well. There's a lot going on around the center, and I just want to highlight a few things, not the least of which is our grand reopening celebration. Now, we had a little taste of that. Was it last week, Alice? Oh, yeah. And with the ice cream sundae and all that stuff. We're going to have potluck that day? I don't know. I should read the announcement and see. August the 1st is coming up. It will be the grand celebration of the reopening of New Thought Unity Center, sharing some big news from the Board of Trustees. And being on the mailing list, I got my big newsletter. If you didn't, let us know, and we'll let you know. There are some details in there. Celebrate by having our first community potluck. So bring a favorite dish to share. Make it vegan. No, I'm just teasing. That's just for me. You can bring anything you want. I'll bring a vegan dish. And the Board of Trustees will present the mid-year update as well as important items that require your input and your vote that will affect the future of this community. We're opening up, and we're getting bigger, and we have dreams, and we're going to make them come true, and we need every one of you here next week to help inform that wonderful vision as we go forward. Hope to see you next week, August the 1st. Spiritual cinema and karaoke are switching nights. Spiritual cinema is going to be on Friday, August the 6th, showing the remake, the 2016 remake of Ben-Hur. I didn't even know it was remade. Wow. Okay, and karaoke night is then going to be on the second Friday, August the 13th. So, coming up real soon. Cross-post support meetings. These support meetings are held every second and fourth Monday of the month in Friendship Hall on Zoom at 7:30. Crossport is a community supporting transgender, gender nonconforming, CDs, and all allies. Count me an ally. Questions and inquiries should be made to Lauren Watson or call the center at, all right, let's say it all together. Ready?
513-961-2527.
We're glad to host Crossport here at Unity. Christmas in July sale at the Gallery of Grace. New inventory of Gallery of Grace has sparked a Christmas in July sale. I guess that would be today, because this is the last Sunday in July. All right, get your Christmas on and go in. 20% off all sale. Oh, not 20% off. Sorry, you have to pay full price. 20% of all sales will be donated to the center. Also, Angel Wings, just right around the corner, is having the discount Dollar Days sale. All clothing $1 off. Might be time for the end of the summer shopping trip. So Fridays 10 to 2. Saturdays 10 to 4, and today from noon until 3 o'clock. NTUC taking back-to-school donations for the Lighthouse Youth Services. I've known a lot of people and a lot of youth that have been strongly impacted for the good because of Lighthouse. So we get an opportunity to bring donations of backpacks, pens, pencils, notebooks, folders, rulers, anything a kid can use in school. So if your kids are long gone, pretend you have a kid and then go to the store and buy a full backpack for that kid and bring it in to Unity. We'll take donations here, drop off during normal business hours or Sunday after the service. And that only is from now until next Sunday as well. So we got a lot to do this week. Prepare for our meeting, get a book backpack, and all of those different things. But those are some of the things that are going on here at the center these days. We're so glad you're here, and as is our tradition, it's time to prepare ourselves for silent meditation.
Love, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
I am present to the sacred in every moment, every relationship. And with every breath, I choose connection. I settle into my body, feet on the floor, my spine straight, my mind relaxed. prepare myself for the whisperings of the Spirit that come from within. As we sit in silence, supported by all those silent souls around me, in a community of love and safety, acceptance, friendship, celebration, and the calm, peaceful assurance that I am connected to the sacred in every moment, in every relationship, in every breath.
And in this one connection, as you come back to this now moment, in this sanctuary, know that connection can never be broken. We are one with the one, everywhere present, wherever you are, God is. In every moment, in every relationship, with every breath, choose connection. Oh, how sweet it is. How sweet it is. How sweet it is to come together with believers as ourselves. Amen. Love, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. There's one power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as a love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baula, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in our heart we're all the same. We'll remember when we close our eyes to see such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baula, Hashem or heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. One power, one power, one power. It's a moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon for its love that flows deep. It's one power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. It's one power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. It's the power of the love that lives forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and
Thank you, Kim. So glad that you're here. I'd like to formally introduce Tara Robinson. We happened to meet last Friday, and she was helping inner city youth discover nature and discover themselves. It was great, right along the banks of the Little Miami River. That's not the only place she's been helping people discover spirituality. For decades now, she's been a spiritual force in greater Cincinnati and beyond, in bringing us closer to ourselves and closer to each other and closer to that great spirit that is in every one of us. And she's going to tell us not just some, not just a piece here and there, but she's going to tell us all that matters today. Welcome, Tara Robinson.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Gosh, it's so good to see this sanctuary filling with bodies, with people. It's good to feel that connection. Thank you for coming out this morning. Can you imagine a more beautiful place to spend your Sunday morning? It's gorgeous in here. I want to thank David so much, and Kim, and Alice, and Althea, and Jenny, and Jeannie, who's on tech, and the sound booth people. It takes a village to pull this off every Sunday. So I want to just kind of preface my time up here this morning with, I guess, like a little bit of vulnerability. When I said that I would be available to speak today, I didn't know if that would in fact be true or not. I didn't know if I would in fact be available to speak today, emotionally available. And I sort of feel like I'm teetering on this line. Like there were a couple of times this week I was like, I can't do it. And as of this morning, I was like, okay, I think I can. I think I can, like the little engine that could. So we'll see if I can. But I feel so much love and so much acceptance and connection in this place. Like, it'll all be fine. So I've spoken here a couple of times this past year, and it turns out that what I spoke about ended up being, unbeknownst to me, a little prophetic in my life. So the first time that I was here, I spoke about the importance of the opportunity that we were being given through the pandemic, and we talked about the significance of the name of the virus, the novel coronavirus, and that literally is translated into receiving a new crown. Corona is derived from the same base as coronation. Novel is new. So through this pandemic, we were all being given an opportunity to receive a new crown, and what we were going to do with this opportunity to sort of reassess our values and our priorities. The pandemic was shaking everything up, and it gave us a chance to start anew, and what were we going to do with that? That was talk number one. Talk number two was about the hero's journey, and it was about receiving the call and taking this descent into the underworld and emerging up on the other side with an elixir of truth and understanding that wasn't had before the descent into the underworld. So what has happened in my life since then, since I gave those two talks, is at first I got really, really, really sick with COVID. I had not known anyone, I had not even heard of anyone my age and of my health to be so, I've never been so sick in my life, physically, mentally. I was in bed for over a month, not even able to hold my head up. I had every single symptom you can possibly have of COVID, even the ones that only 10% of people experience. And it was a world rocker. My son got sick first, and within days of him testing positive, my husband and I both started having symptoms. And so both of us were down in our household and quarantined, and who was going to take care of us? And I could not believe how sick I was. I could feel that virus through every single cell of my being. And I remembered what I had said here, and I thought, damn, I must be receiving one heavy crown. And I kept trying to relate to my experience that way. You're just receiving your new crown. You're just receiving your new crown. Let's look at this through that lens. And there were moments that I was just hanging on by a thread. I did not even know if I was going to survive the experience or not. And I thought, I can really understand how people die from this thing. I was in mid-March, and I was sick all the way through my birthday, which was on April 1st. And my dad had called me to wish me a happy birthday, and he had called multiple times while I was sick to check in and see how I was doing, but I was barely able to talk to him. And I was so weak, and I just slept all the time and couldn't even hardly hold my eyes open to have an actual conversation with him. And I started coming out of the woods about mid-April. So a month later, mid-March to mid-April, I started coming out of the woods and started getting my feet back under me a little bit and started getting a little bit of my strength back. Started like reacclimating to this world because it had felt like I had taken a true journey to some underworld space where I was like barely conscious. And so as I reemerged on April 21st, it was my dad's birthday. And so I called to wish him happy birthday and to report that I was feeling so much better, only to learn that he had been sick for about a week and had tested positive with COVID, even though he had already received the first dose of the vaccine. And my blood ran cold because I had just been so close to the experience. And here, this was my 78-year-old father, and I knew he was healthy, but I also knew where I had just come from, and I knew he was 78. And I said, okay, Dad, and I didn't keep him on the phone long. I said, I know how that feels. I'm going to let you go. And I hung up with him to call my brother to see if he knew, and I knew he would probably call my dad that day since it was my dad's birthday, but I didn't know if he had talked to him yet, and I called my brother only to learn that my brother was in bed with COVID. He had just tested positive 1 week after my dad. So it just felt like it was hitting from all sides. Plus, there must be something in our DNA that was not very compatible with this particular virus, because I got so sick, and now here my dad was really sick, and here my brother was really, really sick. So it became a whirlwind after that. My dad went into the hospital just a couple days after I talked to him, and about a week later I received word that he was in ICU. And my husband and I hopped in the car, and we drove straight through the night. He was living in Cape Coral at the time. He was in Cape Coral, Florida. And we drove straight through the night to arrive there by the next morning. And we had talked about what's the fastest way we can get there. You know, I heard he had been moved to ICU, and it was like everything I knew from the first moment I talked to him on his birthday. I knew it was all unfolding right now. And so what was the quickest way that we could get there? And we talked about maybe just getting on the first emergency flight. What's the first flight out of here? And I said, I can't even think straight enough to know what I would need to pack for a flight, like what's limited to a suitcase. I said, I need to just start throwing whatever I can get my hands on into the car, and we just need to get on the road. And that's what we did. So that was actually just the beginning of what was going to be this horrific experience to my dad being hospitalized in ICU with COVID, because as many of you know, you're not allowed to see COVID patients. And I was so distraught, and I raised all kinds of heck in the lobby of the hospital and pleaded and cried and begged and said, I'm his healthcare power of attorney, and I can't even hear what he's saying to me on the phone because he's under all these masks, under all these oxygen things. You know, please, 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 you have to let me in to see him so I can do my job as his healthcare power of attorney. And they eventually granted me permission to go in to see him for only 15 minutes, and only with a full hazmat suit on. That means the whole gown and the goggles and double layer of masks and gloves. And here I was, like the daughter of my father, and it was so natural to just want to be so intimate with him, you know, to give him a hug and to give him a kiss and to touch his arm. And there were all these barriers of intimacy. My goggles kept fogging up. I couldn't even see him. He couldn't hear what I was saying through the masks, and he couldn't read my lips because everything was covered up. I couldn't even touch his skin because I had gloves on. And it was like every impulse, every natural impulse that was in me was being shut down by this whole system. Plus, never mind, there was a timer literally counting the minutes. 15 minutes, that's all you get. And you're out. It was just unbelievable, and there were things that went down that, like, I don't even know if I'll ever be able to speak of them. I've always been a processor and an external processor, but there's so much that I just cannot even talk about. So when my dad passed away, I felt like I was instantly initiated into the mysteries of death. And although I had lost both of my grandmothers, who I was close to, this was my first real primary relationship of loss. And it was like so many understandings flew to the surface and became clear in like one solid instant. It was like I had access to this entire mystery school that I hadn't previously had access to. And I realized that I had somehow just joined a club that no one wants to be a part of, a club of all the people who've lost someone who is a primary relationship in their life. And I thought, wow, I had no idea. I had no idea what that is all about. And I just wanted to check in with all of you here today. Raise your hand if you've lost someone to COVID during this time. Someone you're close to. I see you. And raise your hand if you've lost a primary relationship in your life, if you've experienced the death of someone really close to you. Yeah, I see you. I feel you. So there were a couple of gateways of understanding that I felt like I received immediately. And one was this understanding of the permanency. And I do know we talk about, our connection through spirit that goes on, and, death isn't really permanent. And yes, that's true. But here, on the physical plane, there was this permanency of never, ever, 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 ever being able to talk to my dad again. Never, ever, ever, ever being able to go sit and be with him in the physical again. And it arose in me like a force of nature wanting to call him and to have nowhere for that to go. It's just like this complete void. Like I could pick up the phone a million times. I could pick up the phone any time, day or night, and rearrange my schedule to find the perfect time, to be able to align my schedule with his, and still it just wasn't going to happen. It was so inconceivable. My dad had been so healthy. I just had no idea this was coming. It was like in an instant I had access to this, and then an instant later I didn't. And that permanency gave rise to two more pieces of clarity about what connection and relationship is really all about. It's not about the details. I found that it wasn't that I was missing something real specific about my dad. It wasn't like that I was longing to have a specific conversation with him or do something specific with him. I realized that it was literally his essence, literally his presence. And I've heard it said many times that who we are speaks louder than what we say. And isn't that absolutely true? Isn't that absolutely true? That when we're not in the presence of someone, but we kind of think about them, the felt sense that arises is a felt sense of their essence, like the overall beingness of who they are. And I started to see with crystal clarity more than I ever had before who that actually was in my dad. Which brought me to the second point of awareness, which was connection. Like what connection really means, because I had a very close and very loving relationship with my dad. He and I did a book club together. We would choose books to read, and we'd read them together and have conversations about them, and we'd talk to each other all the time. I was really close to my dad. I was daddy's little girl. And so there wasn't really anything that was left unsaid between us. We were at peace. We knew the love we had for one another, and yet there were missed opportunities of really being fully present that I didn't realize until those opportunities were no longer available to me. And it caused me to think, wow, if I can see this right now in this moment, in this situation, how much is that actually true with all the other relationships that are currently a part of my life? What about all of the other relationships in our lives that we're really not fully present to the essence of the other person? We're not fully present to our own essence. We're not fully present to the magic of that indescribable space that exists between us. And we're somewhat taking it for granted that we have access to this space that flows so easily between us. How present are we really to that space? For me, part of that permanency, it felt like this umbilical cord being clipped. It was like suddenly this lifeline that I didn't even know was a lifeline. I didn't even know that there was like this stream of sustenance that flowed to me through the love that existed in this relationship. I didn't even know how much it was actually supporting my basic existence here until it felt like that was cut to the quick. But am I present to that dynamic with all of the other people and all of the other relationships in my life? Or am I missing it? Have I been missing it all along? Because wow, suddenly it became like the most cherished thing in the world to me. So wow, am I missing what there is to cherish in all of these other present moments? And I want to read to you an exchange that I had with Kim as we were talking and planning this morning, because I love the way this flowed out through text communication between us. I said, the theme I'll be speaking on is around connection and relationships. This experience with my dad has really pushed to the front what matters most. I want to hone in on the energy of that focal point and consider how we might all continue to build resiliency for holding that space instead of waiting for the preciousness of our connection to come into the limelight during potent moments such as death. In Kim's response, she said, "Oh, I love that topic. I swear I say that all the time after losing so many loved ones so tragically. We always wait until that happens to really be present, to follow our hearts, to make that jump in or out or forward with some innermost desire. Can't wait to hear you speak about it, and yet I'm sorry for the heartbreak that this is the foundation for you." So as I thought about our conversation and that, if this is the message, then the question is how? How do we build resiliency for holding that space? And as I looked closer into that, I realized that so many of the answers to that secret I actually found directly in the way that my dad lived his life. And so I want to use a couple of examples through my experience that illustrate these keys. And the first one is always choose connection over fear. So my dad had been raised in Cincinnati, and I've lived in Cincinnati my whole life except for going to college down in Florida. And about 10 years ago, he decided he really wanted to move down to Florida where the weather was warm and he could do all the things that he loves. He loves to be active and play golf and play tennis and play cornhole and likes to boat and fish. And he wanted to be where the weather was warmer, but he was in great conflict because it meant leaving his family who was up here. So there was kind of this, Sophie's choice between connection with himself and connection with his family. And instead of sitting in the fear of what that would be to disconnect from his family, he started asking the creative questions about how can I stay connected? How can I stay connected? And so he got really creative, and he chose connection for himself by moving to Florida, but he made a strong commitment to come back to Cincinnati 4 times every year for 2 full weeks And he spent 1 week at my brother's house and 1 week at our house. And those were precious times because he actually was living in our home with us. So myself and my kids and my husband all got to experience my dad like in his jammies in the morning, eating a bowl of cereal, just like moments that we would have never had with him had he stayed living here in Cincinnati. So it was brilliant. It was a brilliant way to choose connection over fear. He found a way to choose connection instead of being afraid of the potential disconnection. Another lesson that I learned about how to hold and build stamina for this space that matters the most is to always choose connection over judgment. And I learned this big time from my dad. This was one of the qualities I had taken for granted. He never spoke a bad word about anyone. And I like really mean that. Even through like a challenging divorce with my mom, my dad always had her back. Every person in his life, I only heard him say, even if there were family situations that arose and someone was bickering with someone, he would always come alongside whoever was being talked about and say, they have good reason, for this and that. Like he would kind of, defend. There was always something positive to say about someone. And he was raised in this like country club lifestyle, but he never met someone who wasn't a potential friend. He had friends from all walks of life. We all kind of teased him about all the scallywag friends that he had. But for him, they were just people to love, For him, it was about connection. For him, it was about if there was another human being to be in connection with, that was far more important than being in judgment of them. And so he consistently entered this space of, there's another person in front of me, and this is a sacred opportunity. And he came right from there. Another key that I learned is always choose connection over preference. Now, I learned this a lot as his daughter because my pathway in life didn't look like his. It wasn't necessarily something that would be his preference. And as his dad, who wanted what was best for me, I'm sure he had plenty of visions and plenty of ideas. And how often can that become a barrier in relationship? How many people are we in relationship with that we might have a preference for something we would like to be seeing them do differently? We have a preference for that. And that gets in the way of connection. But my dad always chose connection over preference. Always. The most important thing to him, and I knew it beyond a shadow of a doubt, was the love that he had for me. Always. That was the only message I ever received from him. Not his preferences for my life, and not his preferences and his opinions about the choices that I was making in my life. He was like the number one fan of my book. And my book is not like a book that he would ever read if it was written by anyone else. And yet he thought it was like the most amazing thing in the world. I don't know how he pulled that off. Always choose connection over preference. Always choose connection over fear. Always choose connection over judgment. Always choose connection over preference. These are the things that get in the way. And the last one, this is a biggie for many of us, is always choose connection over busyness. Always choose connection over busyness. My dad had this magical ability, and he was just my dad. He was just my dad, so I didn't even see it. I didn't even value it. It's just who he was. I didn't even know that it was like the most amazing gift that he was giving me. My dad was like a dog. You know how you can walk out of a room, and you walk back into the room, and the dog acts like they haven't seen you in a million years, and they get so excited, and their eyes light up, and their tail wags, and their whole body moves back and forth? That's how my dad was. When I would call him, it wouldn't matter if I had just talked to him the day before. When I would call him, he would answer the phone, and his voice had this quality, like as if the Queen of England was calling him. His voice lit up when he was staying at our house. And we would all wake up at different times in the morning. Whichever of us came down the stairs and into the kitchen, his eyes lit up, and he would jump up from the table and say, "Good morning, Kaylin. Good morning, Alex. Good morning, Nikki." And then later that afternoon, they'd come home from school, and it was like he was just seeing them fresh all over again. It was amazing. It was his whole countenance. It's like his whole body, from his toes to the tip of his head, just came alive with brightness. I don't even know how he pulled it off, but he was connected. He was so connected. And I mean, this man had a life. He had a very full life. He was a part of a million different social organizations and athletic groups. And, but like I said, when I called him, it didn't matter what he might be in the middle of doing. What took precedence in every moment was connection. He was present for it. He was present for it. So those are some of the things I wanted to share with you this morning, and I wanted to leave you with a reading that's one of my favorites, and for me it kind of is a good synopsis of this, like what really matters the most. And the title of it is The Invitation by Oriah Mountain Dreamer. Some of you might be familiar with it. It says, "It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know if you've touched the center of your own sorrow, if you have been opened by life's betrayals or have become shriveled and closed from fear and further pain. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it or fade it or fix it. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own, if you can dance with wildness and let the ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes without cautioning us to be careful, to be realistic, to remember the limitations of being human. It doesn't interest me if the story you are telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another in order to be true to yourself. If you can hear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul. If you can be faithless and therefore trustworthy. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it is not pretty every day, and if you can source your own life from its presence. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours and mine, and still stand at the edge of the lake and shout to the silver of the full moon, yes. It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get up after the night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done to feed the children. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else fades away. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself and if you truly like the company you keep in the empty moments. And that is the invitation. That is the invitation. How present can we get to the opportunity of connection with one another? That is the true meaning of take off your shoes, you're on holy ground. Every moment when you are engaged with another soul, you are on holy ground. Are you attuned to the sacred that is present in that moment? Are you tapped in? Are you attuned to that? Thank you.
Thank you, Tar, for those wonderful words. Connection overall. We're going to connect with a little music now. And you might feel your body want to move, or even your feet to dance. We'll see.
My one and only prayer is that I won't forget to close my eyes and to connect.
My only guide.
My only guide. Come on. My one and only prayer is that I won't forget to close my eyes and to connect to that deep divine one power in my life. My only source, my only guide. My heart is open, my mind is clear. Pour through me, Spirit, as I stand here. My one and only prayer is that I won't forget to close my eyes and to connect to that deep divine one power in my life. My only source, my only guide. My heart is open, my mind is clear. Pour through me, Spirit, as I stand here. Whisper words of wisdom, sing to me your song. I'll be a vessel for you my whole life long. My whole life long. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gonna clear my mind, yeah, meditate. Empty me, cause I have faith. As the divine flows through me, my spirit shines so naturally. Yes, I wanna be a guiding light, a vessel to those in their dark night. I don't ever wanna forget the openness that helped me live. With my song and with my hand, I wanna give hope and help you stand. If I had one prayer, it would be that I remember you're a part of me. My one and only prayer is that I won't forget. Come on, to close my eyes and to connect to that deep divine one power in my life. Come on, my only source, my only guide. My heart is open, my mind is clear. Yeah. Pour through me, Spirit, as I stand here. That's right. My one and only prayer is that I won't forget to close my eyes and to connect to that deep divine one power in my life. My only source, my only guide. My heart is open, my mind is clear. Pour through me, Spirit, as I stand here. You ready? Here we go. My one and only prayer is that I won't forget to close my eyes and to connect to that deep divine one power in my life. My only source, my only guide. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Hasn't this been a great service? Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, congregation, for making it so welcoming. We feel your energy and prayerfully you felt ours. It's that time in our service where we take our tithes and our offering in our hands and say our offertory blessing together. So if you're ready, as the ushers come down.
All right, let's say it together. Divine love, moving in and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Today your chaplains are myself and Marilyn, and we'll be over here ready to pray with you if you have a prayer request. If you have something you want to celebrate, we'll celebrate that with you also. There are prayer request cards in the back of the pews. If you'd like to fill one out, you can do so and place it in the prayer box in the back.
Yeah, and so want to recognize everyone that's out there on the internet, and I'm sure there were a lot of different things. Once in a while we say what came across, but here's the thing. Once it's posted up, you can see all the comments on the side. Can you see them? No, you can't see them? Can you see them on the side when we repost this, this situation? Yeah, so a lot of people, some of them probably in their pajamas out there, but they do not let pajamas get in the way of connection either. We connect whether we're here or whether we're out on the internet, and we're thankful for all of that. Do want to make one announcement. Well, I do want to, while we're getting everything together there, recognize our tech team today. We've got Susan and Linda back in the booth making a scene all over. And Jean has the audio today and the microphones and doing all of the sound. You might miss Rick, who is not here today, and guess what? Rick has decided to go on to a new connection. He is at home with his family today. I just talked to him this morning. He's drinking coffee, eating donuts. But we want to recognize the wonderful, he kind of shepherded us through all of this connection over the internet and sound. And so he is on to new things with connection with his family and all. And so, and he wanted to tell everyone, thank you for everything. And we want to say thank you, Rick, for all that you've done to get us seen and heard literally around the world. So thanks to Rick Andrew.
So let us go back to our heart space. Father, Mother God, we thank you for these gifts that has been given with the spirit of love, and we are so appreciative of the works that they do for this New Thought Unity Center community. We know that the givers are blessed, and if they did not give, they too are blessed. Our hearts are open, and we're ready to receive. New Thought Unity Center is ready to receive its highest and best good, and we are so grateful, and so it is. Amen.
Amen. Hey, thanks for hanging around just a little longer today. It was so worth it. Tara, I want to say thanks for sharing. And you were not only brave and courageous, but strong in this time of when we have loved ones pass, my goodness, and just a lesson that connection trumps it all, whether it's preoccupation with other things, judgment, time, busyness, anything. I need to connect with those that I love and care for. I love my connection with the band. Anybody like the band? Yeah.
Man.
Do we have some? Uh-oh. I think we have a superhero. Is there a drum roll somewhere for this?
Woo!
I'm sorry, it's not superhero, it's superstar. Superstar. All right, you remember that? Superstar certificate is awarded to Linda Miller in recognition of your service to NTUC. Linda Miller, I know her as Madam Secretary. She is Secretary of the Board and is often here and wears lovely hair bows that came from somewhere. So everyone, please give your appreciation to Linda for all that she does here at New Thought Unity Center.
Linda.
All right. Yeah, you get the certificate. All right. Just a quick reminder.
Thank you.
Everyone, you got to go out and get your school bag and buy that and bring it anytime during the week when we're open or next Sunday. And be sure to block off time next Sunday to be here for the service, to be here for lunch in between, bring something to eat, and then we're going to know. I'm excited to see where we're going, and the board has been working hard on all of that. All right. Have we covered everything? Are we connected?
We're connected.
Hey, guess what? We're going to
Let's connect up physically.
We're going to stand up and connect physically. We kind of migrate out to the aisle if you'd like and see if we can make a full, if you feel comfortable holding hands with folks, circle around this sanctuary as we connect ourselves in love, in grace, and in celebration. And that feeling, that connection goes all through this community out into the world as we know our prayer for protection and our peace song. Oh, hands are migrating. They're about to touch. And, oh, it was magical, wasn't it? So we know together, the light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is, and all